Hey, we're back. Hi. Okay, next video. In case you missed it. Now we'll share screen. All right. So we were just discussing Scratch disk being full, everyone. So if you have that issue, Dana was nice enough to share this with everyone. A nice little setup Scratch disk and Adobe Photoshop. But we're having a bit of an issue with that. So if you have the same issue, let's talk about it. We'll see if we can't figure it out together. Honestly, not something I've dealt with. So it's all good. It's all good. We will get into it. We're right here, Photoshop, yes. Another thing you may want to do for anyone who is having issue with RAM, close down any and every application you do not need. You will find if there is an application that's going to slow or freeze your computer up, it is going to be Photoshop, After Effects, or Premiere. Those are the beasts of burden. They will suck the RAM and memory from your computer as fast as a kid having his first Slurpee. I don't know. That's a good analogy. All right. All right. Another thing, if you can, we're going to be working, of course, in Canvas. But in fairness, you can close your browser down. Oh, no. Yeah, your browser. Can you close your browser down? I think you can. I'm not going to. But if you're able to close your browser down, that's another huge memory sucker as well. Okay. So that being said,
Sorry to interrupt you, Mitch. It's not
yeah.
a smart question, but how do you do a right click?
Oh, without a mouse?
Yeah.
It's control, I think. Yes. Hold control down, Nazreen, and then click.
All right. Thank
you. No problem. That's not a bad question at all. These are new for many of us, right? So, but yeah, Nazreen, please get a mouse because I'm going to say right click all the time. And not only am I going to be saying right click all the time, but I'm going to want you to also use control as a short key as well. So you're going to have to do like a control click, get a right click, and then possibly go in. You know what I mean? Just
yes.
yeah, we want to leave our fingers open so that we can. We're gonna talk about our base row in graphic design. I like to call it our base row in graphic design. If you're not doing it already, do it right now for me. You ready? This is what I need you to do. Take your index finger, your middle finger, and your other finger, whatever the heck that one's called. I want you to put it over top of your space bar, Command and Option, and I want you to just set it there and leave it there. Okay, this is your new base row. Don't worry about typing anymore. You don't type anymore. Now we use graphic design fingers. Our graphic design fingers are spacebar, Command, Option. Always. Keep that finger there and hand there. I'm gonna leave it there for 3 hours today. Don't move it. Okay, let's get trained. That's how we train. We're like Mr. Miyagi. So we're gonna do like spacebar, Command, Option. All right. Keep those 3 fingers over top, hovering over top of those 3 keys. They will be our base row for graphic design. I'm going to constantly say spacebar, Command, spacebar, Command, spacebar, Command. I'm going to constantly say Command. I'm going to constantly say Option. Okay. And then we're going to use a combination of keys as well. I'm huge into my short keys. You'll find that out.
My Mac just beeping when I do that.
What's that?
My Mac is beeping when I do that. It's just making a weird sound.
Oh, don't do it yet, Sid. I don't want you to like hold them down.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't hold them down. Just like get your fingers over top of them.
Okay.
That's all. Okay. So yeah, Sid, just have them like hovering over top of the spacebar, Command, and Option. Get ready to use them. Okay, pal? Awesome.
All right.
Cool. That's going to be, as mentioned, you're going to utilize these 3 keys nonstop in all of these programs because they all have the same, well, not all the same, but all very familiar and similar. Okay. Almost. Yeah. Some of them, of course, are different, but you know, it's what it is. All right, bada boom, bada bing. Now let's get, this is where we want to be. I'm going to just download anything that we need for the class. And then maybe, oh shit, I won't because I need this right now. Never mind. It's all good. What I was going to do is get everyone to shut this down so that you have more RAM, like your actual web browser. But let's leave it open for now because we might need that, especially for this, right? Welcome to week 4, as mentioned. There's our Photoshop settings. There's our workspaces. There's our resolution, basic navigation. And that's that. Okay? That's what we're going to do right now. So you have it there. And I'm recording this as well. And I'll just post this as our in-class lecture. If you want to go back to that, it's your call. Okay. Now, what else we got? Pick for in-class. Download this for me, please. So it's called Res Pick Wolfie. Good old Wolfie. So let's download Wolfie. So click on it. That should then take you here. And you'll notice it will then show up in your downloads folder for everyone down here in the bottom right corner. And you click on it and that will just open it up like so. Now good? Awesome. Now, this is a general resource. We looked at getting set up last week. So what I want everyone to do is let's go here and we're going to just open up this. Remember, we looked at our folders, getting our folders set up, right? And we're going to go into CAD class. Okay. Now, this is a general resource, etc. For this one, I may throw it into my weekly content because it is completely general. And I might just pop it in here to week 4. And we'll just have a whole bunch of stuff in here, lots of cat collages, etc. I got to get cleaned up. What a mess. But in your case, it should be empty, right? So that's a good news. And then what we can do is let's create a new folder. So right click or a control click, and that will open up new folder. Okay. Or you can go into week 4 and do this. And if you're like, oh, don't stress right now. If you're like, I haven't set my folders up, Mitch, don't stress. Just do that soon. Go back into week 2, I believe it was. Watch the video, get your week set up. Okay. So that being said, go here, new folder. Okay. And we're just going to call this out as Wolfie Pick. Is that necessary? Probably not. Do I need a folder? Probably not. But I'm just going to make sure it's called out and obvious. And I'm going to drag and drop. So notice how we did that, everyone. I went into my downloads, right? Grabbed it from here, Wolfie Pick, and I just dragged and dropped it over into my Wolfie Pick folder here. And you'll notice it then shows up there for me. You'll notice I'm in column view, everyone, another call out. So you have list view, icon view, gallery view. Okay, gallery view is kind of nice if you want to preview your photos nice and large and big and in charge, right? If you're going through your pictures. Okay, we know that we can do this all, right click on the Wolfie Pick, and this is your tree, right? It allows you to navigate. So I'm going to go back into week 4. Okay, there we go. And there's my Wolfie Pick as well for me there. Okay, and then I can quickly change the view here as well. All you don't have, you can go click, click, and click. So change up your views. We did this week 2, I believe, together, navigation, right? Cool. So again, I just made a folder called it Wolfie Pick. That's not going to mean much to anyone, but what I want everyone to do is let's have a look at this together. Okay. Actually, you know what? Before we do that, let's have a look at our Photoshop in general terms before we get here. Okay. And since we're here and we're downloading stuff, let's just get things organized. So I'm going to go here and back into modules. Also, I'm not sure if you knew this, but if you find that it's irritating scrolling through all of your modules, keep in mind that you can't just close them up like that. And if you close them up, it just means that you know you're done with the week, you're finished, you don't really need to go back into it. And that way you can just, when you go back into the class, you know that you're on week 4. Good or bad, I'm just, you know, it's up to you. You may want to keep them on, but just, if you're like, boom, I'm done week 3, I'm gone, right? Now, we're going to do this together in class. This is what we're doing. Yeah, baby. Okay, check it out. Isn't that cute? We're working with 1, 2, 3, 4 photos. Yep. We're going to work with copy today, work with type in Photoshop. Okay. We're going to put our name on it. Okay. We love Nana. We made a beautiful collage for her, and you can put your own top copy in here. And this is pretty straightforward. We're going to look at using simple shapes and photos. Cool. And you're like, yeah, who doesn't want to build a cat collage, really? So that's where we need to get to. I've given you all the files or images for that. So let's go ahead and do that now. And that's right here, pics for cat collage. So what I need you to all do is click right here. Good. Now I need you to just click download cat collage zip. Are we all got this okay? This is really important because we're going to need these files. If you're not with me, just let me know. So click on cat collage. That will then go here. You'll notice down to the bottom left. Okay. It will also go here for you. As mentioned, its locations here. Okay, cat collage zip. You can always go up here to this arrow, everyone, if you want to just open it up in the Finder. So click, that will then open it up as you see here. We now have cat collage that's here. So we're just getting organized, right? So in week 4, we had Wolfie pick. You'll notice I have cat collages from plenty of the semesters. So I would highly recommend, again, you may want to just create a new folder here. You may have a general assignments, right? A general break or general assignments and projects folder. I have one called major and mini assignments here. I may suggest you put it in here instead, okay? And then you can just call it out as cat collage, maybe, would be great. That way you only have like 5 assignments in here instead of weekly is, again, more for like the general stuff. But the major mini projects, I think there's only going to be some, well, this is a pretty busy class. There's going to be a few, but at least, you know, you can find them really easy. So I may suggest, don't worry about Wolfie. He can go into weekly because we don't need that as a general. But for this one, right? Did I create a folder yet for that? Facebook. Oh yeah, we're creating a Facebook banner. Yay. And then we're doing what else? Screenshot assignment, skate. Oh, I haven't got one yet. There you go. So new folder, and I'm going to call this out as cat collage in class, right? And that's in my majors and mini assignments folder, okay? Now, you will note, and it's great to get organized, right? So we talked about this, I believe, when we were setting up our folders and weekly. What I'm going to do here all is go in, make sure we're in column view. I want us to do new folder, okay? Let's create 3 quick folders, okay? I'm going to pretend like we're doing work for a client, okay? So I'm going to say from clients, all right? So new folder, right click, or you can go up here all to this little circle. That also allows you to do new folder, okay? If you forget the right click deal. So from client is great, okay? I'm going to go here and we're going to say working. Awesome. And I want you to do one more and we're going to call this to client. Amazing. So now we have a from client to client and we have a working folder. Sound good? Pretty straightforward. One is going to be all the native files that you're given. One, of course, is the one we currently work on. One is the one that's flattened, CMYK'd, boom, to client. Here you go, right? Depending on what you're doing. If it's Photoshop work, it may be a poster or whatever you do in Photoshop, right? All your comps and so on. So let's go here now. Open up our downloads one more time. Have a look. There's our cat collage. Yes. Okay. Click on the cat collage and I want you to move that over from client. Perfect. So we now have from client a folder here that's zipped. Yeah. And you can double click on that. Now this is where you kind of like take a step back. Do I need all of these tree folder like leading in here? No, I need some freaking pictures, right? So that being said though, this is a good habit to get into also. From client, what we'll do is let's get rid of, say, command. You ready? Do a short key delete. And that's command, hit the delete key up by, yeah, your delete key, command delete. Boom, nice. That'll throw it out right away. If you're not comfortable with that and you're like, oh, I want those cat pictures back. I did something to this confused kitty. That's okay. Your files are always there for you, okay? They're up there. You can always grab them again. There's no issue there. So the one thing I have to stress to each of you, if you ever lose or you mess up or you do something, you're like, oh, shoot, how did I? Autumn, can you close the door, please? I was about to say a bad word. Okay, bye. Love you. So we go in and we just, right? Now, this is not cool. We have cat collage. When we get into InDesign, and when you start working maybe with clients, et cetera, it's great to do this. You ready? Go in and let's do a rename on this folder. So click, click, get into our collage, cat collage. Call this out as imagery. Amazing. Okay. So you can call it images, supplied, you know, supplied pics, whatever you want to do. Make sure it's obvious that that's where your pictures are. Okay. And maybe you just call it out as pictures. You will then have a few other folders. We won't need these in this case. I didn't give you a file for a font. I really should have done that. But typically you're going to have a client will say, I want to use this font. So create a folder for me now, and we're just going to call it font. We won't need it, but I want you to get in the habit of doing this, because your client will typically send you, and we'll get to this in Illustrator and InDesign, will typically give you a file that they want to use as a font. Not always. I say typically, I guess it depends on the client. Remember, we have to pay for fonts, yes, unless we're going to use Google Fonts, which is an amazing free. You also have DAF font, etc. The issue with DAF font is it's royalty free, sort of, meaning it's good for personal use, but not good for commercial use. Meaning if you want to create a poster with one of those fonts, you are supposed to look at the fine print, and the fine print is going to say, typically on DAF font, it's going to say, you can only use for personal use. If you choose to use this font for anything else, I need XX, or I need you to buy my font, and you can purchase it here at this link. Are we all clear on that? And it gets a little choppy and dicey. Now, currently, everyone, this would be if you're working with a client. As we're in school right now, we're doing stuff typically for our portfolio and all that fun stuff. That is totally fine. That's personal use. So anything we use throughout the course of these 3 years, typically, unless we're doing a project for a company, right? You're okay to use that font, and you're okay to use the, any font things that you use. Typically, they again are for personal use only. Also, we're an educational institution, which gives us a little bit of freedom, which is absolutely beautiful for me, because I get to do a lot. I get to do a lot of creative, fun stuff, even though out in the world it would be considered copyright infringement. That being said, I'm not selling my work. I'm using it to teach, right? So we're just doing it to create a portfolio piece and nothing more. I want to be clear. Are there any questions about that with fonts? We're going to get into, we should really have a class on, I do it in branding, but that's not till semester 4. We get into copyright, royalty-free, public space, and so on. Are there any questions about that, about copyrights, etc.? That's a big question, isn't it? Fonts is one of those things that gets ripped off, and yeah, more than any other, I would say more than any other software that's out there, fonts is the one that gets kicked down to the curb, right? People forget about it. But as a professional, you need to know that if you're going to use a font that you have not purchased, and your client wants to use a font for their website, and you've not purchased it yet, you are in violation of copyright law, and you can be told to cease and desist, and you can be told that that website has to be shut down. And now you get to go back to your client, or your client will get an email from the government saying, this person is upset because you're using their font and you haven't paid for it. You're hoping that they will just accept a royalty payment. Here you go, just take it so I can stay open. Probably the way it goes typically, but they do have the rights to shut you down and tell you that you need to swap your font out with something else. People just care about money when it comes to copyright, right? And they care not just money. Sorry, I digress. It's their work, right? It's like anything. You can't take somebody's work without asking them, right? It goes without saying. Yeah. Sorry, does that make sense for everyone? Anyway, that was a long kind of run on, but a really important lesson that we will be talking about multiple times throughout our classes together, because that's a really big touch point, is copyright and royalty free and so on. Anyway, let's have a look. We've got 4 cute little kitties. Look at this. Let's have a look at these kitties in gallery view. There we go. Look at, we got really upset Friskies kitty. We've got, I'm not really sure what's going on kitty. We got the cutest bow tie polka dot kitty. And we've got the, I really need that butterfly kitty. Yes, how cute. All right. So we've got our kitty set up. We've got our folder set up for this project, which is awesome. Okay. We don't have fonts, but we've got our imagery. So that's perfect. Okay. Anything else in here? I think this really will be your main core root folders that you'll typically get from a client, right? I guess the logos might be another one, right? Or vector art, right? Logos, something like that. Do you need to do that? No, I'm just kind of showing you, these are the ones that typically you would have in here, right? And you may put the imagery into the vector art, etc. But as long as you know where to find it, that's the main thing. We're just getting organized, right? Cool, 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 cool. And it's now coming up to an hour. Holy heck, what happened? And we got our folder set up. It's all good, yo. We're good. We're good. We're going to dive into preferences now because we've got everything we need. We're going to come back to Wolfie, and we're going to come back to the resolution pick in a second. Before we do that, maybe let's take a break because you guys have listened to me for an hour now. I'm going to stop the video there. So bye.